Greetings, friends. As always, it's an extremely high honor to welcome you back to Rick's Garage. Today I've got a Nissan Rogue with all four wheels raised. The reason I have it up in the air is I'm multitasking today. I am going to rotate the tires. I've already changed the oil, but I'll show you the real reason for this particular video. This is the front passenger side wheel. And I'll show you what the issue is. You can see the wheel is loose. I checked the ball joints, it's not that. It's not the tie rod end. It's actually the hub. The wheel bearing in the hub is bad. It's not making any noise, but it certainly is loose. So that's the subject of today's video, is we're going to replace this hub. Before we begin, friends, if you're familiar with my channel, you know I like to have a safety moment. You want to have the car supported on a solid level surface with quality jack stands. Now in this case I'm using my Touran Big Reds. Each one can support 12 tons. Collectively they can support 48 tons. Now I promise you I'm not going to try to support anything that's 48 tons. I bought these because of the extra height they provide and the extra stability. And I do have safety glasses available. What we need to do first is we got to remove this carrier bracket and caliper so we can get the rotor off. What you need is a 19 millimeter. I'm going to use a breaker bar. These are usually pretty tight. And I'm going to try to get the other one loose. I need a little extension for that. See if we can get the top one. There we go. I knocked over my light, which I knew was going to happen. Put that back. Okay, now that I've got these started, we go zap them off with my gun. Okay, very good. That one was easy enough. See if we can get the top one. I'm going to move the light. Okay. Alright, wasn't too bad. Alright, with the caliper and brackets unbolted, I am going to try to hang this up on the strut. Got these little hooks just for this purpose. Alright, that'll be enough out of the way. And it looks like the rotor just wants to fall off. Great. Alright, now we've got the fun of trying to remove this cotter pin. These are always a pain. We're going to straighten that out a little bit. So we can get it to go out. There we go. Actually, that wasn't as bad as I expected it to be. Now I'm going to remove the axle nut. You need a 32 millimeter socket for that. Now if you don't have an impact wrench, you're going to have to do this with the wheel on the ground. So I would temporarily put the wheel on the ground and then get a big breaker bar. But we got a impact tool, so we should be able to just zip it off very easily. Okay. What I've got to do here is drive this axle shaft back in a little bit to give me room to access those hub bolts. I put a jack under there to raise it up enough so the axle is more or less in a straight line. Now I'm hoping that I can retract it enough to get at those bolts. Beautiful. Okay. Yep, that pushes right in now. If I didn't put a jack under there and give it a straight on shot, I never would have been able to push that in. Okay friends, I'm ready to unbolt the hub. You'll need a 17 millimeter socket to remove these bolts. By pushing back this axle a little bit, it gives me a little better access to them. Now, I hate to do this, but I'm going to have to do one and then do the other three off camera because the camera is going to be exactly in my way. So I apologize for that, but I'm going to show you the first one anyway. And the other thing is I hate to do is I have to use my regular sockets with my impact driver because my impact sockets are too fat to fit in there. Alright, that was easy enough. Alright, so I'm going to get the other three off camera and I'll come back when that's done. We're ready to remove the hub. I'm ready to attempt to knock out the hub. Now, what you see before you are 4 different methods that can be employed. The most common of which is the slide hammer here. That probably would work, although sometimes I feel like your arm is going to fall off before you get the hub out. The next method is the what they call a hub buster. Get a big old hammer, bolt it onto the hub, and have at it. That is probably the most effective method. Although one thing I want to mention, if you're going to use one of these, you need to support the control arm. What I found the first time I used it, in hammering at it, the spring was absorbing the blows. So once I put a support under the control arm, I was able to knock the thing right out. Just about out of there. Finally. This is an interesting method. This is a special attachment for my air hammer. You put a socket in it, and then you unscrew the bolt to some degree, and then you can have at it with the air hammer and push the thing right out. I'm going to take my air hammer with that special adapter I just showed you. All right, let's see how that worked out. Looks like it's just about out of there. That worked out great. That was very quick, very easy. The last method I want to show you, I just got these in and I'm kind of anxious to try them. So this is what we're going to use. These bolts are especially made to force the hub off the knuckle. So we're going to try that. In order to utilize this kit, we have to knock out one of these studs. Doesn't matter because we're going to throw this thing away anyway. And the stud doesn't want to quite come out, so we're gonna zip it off, I guess. Not quite enough room to get the stud out here. Okay, now it should come out. There it is. Okay, very good. Now we're going to bring this back and line it up with the knuckle so we can press the hub out. Yeah, that centered pretty well. Hopefully this will fit through that hole, and it does. Okay. I'm going to put the nut right here. And we'll put the cap that it screws into right here. Okay. All right, hopefully this will work. I can see it already pulling away a little bit. I think I got it close enough I can knock it with a hammer. Figure this out. Very good. Well, friends, this is the new hub. I got it from Detroit Axle, if you can see it. Detroit Axle does not sponsor me. If you're familiar with my channel, you know I have not accepted as of yet any sponsors. I've been offered a few, but I haven't accepted any. I pay for this axle with my own money. Now, I've been doing business with Detroit Axle for a few years now, and they've always sent me quality parts. Not so with many of the vendors on eBay, but I've had very good luck with their parts. These parts are very high quality, and they cost about half of what I would pay locally, say at like AutoZone or a place like that. I trust Detroit Axle, and as I just mentioned, they do not sponsor me. I paid with my own money for this part. So let's see what it looks like. Looks pretty much the same. I'm ready to go ahead and install the hub. What I'm going to do here is take a scraper and clean out some of this debris and crud out of this bore where the hub is going to press into. I'm not going to install any anti-seize. I want this thing to get really good and stuck in here. I got enough tools to help me get it out if I have a problem. So I just want to kind of get some of the stuff out of it. You can see all the stuff that's coming out. All right, I'm going to blow that out. Okay, I'm ready to install this hub. I'm going to put the backing plate in position first. Get this started. Bring this up where it belongs. Yeah, oops. Don't want that to fall out. All right, now I'm going to get a rubber hammer and kind of tap it in. Okay. Okay, friends, I hope you can see this. I'm going to try to get one of these bolts started. I've turned the vehicle all the way to the right, the steering knuckle. It looks like I've got that one started a little bit. I'm going to give it a few turns with a socket. Alright, that one's going in. I don't want to put it all the way in because I want to get the others started. Let's see if I can get one of the top ones started, but I'm not going to be able to give you a good view of it, so I'm not going to try. So off camera, I'm going to go ahead and start the rest of them. Alright friends, I've got them all started. Now I'm going to go ahead and snug them in using a 3/8 air ratchet. Alright, that one's in. Now I'll snug up the top one. We'll come back and torque these later. Alright, now what I'm going to do is turn the wheel the other way and snug up the two on the other side. Get that one snugged up. See if we can get that bottom one right there. Now I'm going to try to torque them. So I've got my torque wrench set to 95 pounds. It's supposed to be 92, but I set it to 95. Hasn't clicked yet. Oop, I slipped off of it. There's not a lot of room here to get on this thing, and there, I'm on it again. I've got the camera in the way a little bit. I'm going to move it. There it is. Click right there. Alright, so that's 95 pounds. So I'm going to do the other three off camera. It calls for 92. I set the torque wrench to 95. Okay, I'm going to start the axle nut at this time. I'm not going to torque it right now because I need to do that with the wheels on the ground. What I'll do is I'll snug it in now. Alright, and we'll go ahead and torque that, like I said, later. Friends, this video is already getting a lot longer than intended. So off camera I washed down the rotor with brake cleaner, reinstalled that. I bolted the brake caliper and bracket back up, and I've installed the wheel. So I'm ready to go ahead and torque this axle nut. You can see I popped out the center cap so I could access it. Now I got conflicting information online on how tight this axle nut needs to be, and this is a critical spec. I had one guy say it was supposed to be 133 foot-pounds, another guy said it was supposed to be 188 foot-pounds. So I went ahead and downloaded the service manual, and here is the page I found that clearly shows the torque to be 188 foot-pounds. So I've got the torque wrench set to 188, and we're going to go ahead and torque this wheel. There we go. Right there, 188. Okay, so that's done. So the last thing that remains to be done, friends, is we need to install the axle retainer with a cotter pin. However, as you can see, this one's badly damaged, so I'm not going to try to put it back on. Advanced Auto carries these, AutoZone does not. So I'm going to pop by Advanced Auto later this afternoon and get a new one. It's fairly simple. You just put it on, put a cotter pin in, and you're done. So I'm not going to hold up the video for that. So that's all I've got, friends. I want to thank you once again for watching Rick's Garage. Before I go, I am going to post two videos to your left, of which I hope you find of interest. And to your right, as always, will be a picture of my avatar in the form of my very trusty German Shepherd. By all means, feel free to click on that should you wish to subscribe to my channel. So thanks again for watching. We hope to see you all very, very soon.